welcome back to my channel, and today I am sharing with you my organised kitchen tour. So basically this kitchen is a really small kitchen and it's a pretty old kitchen, so it's got no drawers or anything like that in for pots and pans. It's pretty much all just cupboards. So if you have a small kitchen or an old kitchen like this, or if you have a kitchen and you are limited space, then this video is for you. I hope you all enjoy. If you do, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and turn those notification bells on so you don't miss another video. So this is the entirety of the kitchen. So I have drawers just here and a couple of cupboards, well, a few cupboards. And then to the right here is my pantry. So if you're wanting to see the inside of this pantry, then you will need to check out my pantry tour. I will leave it up in the cards above, or I will leave it in the description box. Either way, I will have the pantry there if you want to go and check that one out. So let's just start off in this drawer here. So this is the first drawer, which is the cutlery drawer, and I have opted to use these dividers rather than buying the standard cutlery caddy things that you can buy. I just find that I can configure it even better. So usually the teaspoons are right here because I couldn't get one that was small enough, and then I've got my peeler and my can opener there. This is just a really small kitchen, so you'll see why I've got things that I have. Another tip that I have seen, the Sunday Stylist actually said this, was to actually stack them on top of each other. So you could stack these on top of each other and have two layers and then close your drawer and it still works perfectly fine. But I don't personally like things stacked on top of each other. But yeah, you could definitely do that and then sort of put like all your party stuff and things that you don't use as much underneath, and that would just give you like basically double the drawer storage space. In this next drawer, this is like my utensils drawer and stuff like that. So I've got tongs, there's normally scissors here, but the elf took off with those last night. So the scissors are gone. I've got some clips for my bags and stuff like that. For my bags and stuff like that. And then I've just got my stick mixer, and these are just assorted spoons here. So normally I do like to have them all separate, but I just don't have the space. And these spoons don't really get used that much. Like I pretty much use this one all the time. And these ones are like your salad server and your ice cream scoop, so they don't get used a lot. So yeah, they have that own little spot there. This next drawer is where I keep my grater, and these are like things for your fruit and stuff. They're from IKEA, they're pretty cool. And then I've got these things that go over like lids of stuff. They are okay, but when lids and stuff get wet, it's quite hard to use, so I don't know if I'm going to end up keeping them. But anyway, that's what I've got. I do have the scales up the top here, and then I've just got this inside the actual top bit, so it's just saving that space, and it works as a divider, so it's pretty cool. This next drawer, I've just decluttered this because I did have heaps of kids' bibs and stuff like that in here. My daughter's nearly 4, so she doesn't really need it. So yeah, this is just tea towels at the moment. Okay, so in this cupboard, I have some kitchen plates. I do actually have bowls and plates here. They're actually in the dishwasher at the moment. And I might just bring the light over a little bit so we can see. And then I've just got a lunchbox, some couple of placemats there. And in here I've actually got my electrical stuff. So I've got my toaster and my sandwich press in here. My daughter is the only one that really eats bread in this house because I am like gluten-free. So I don't buy a lot of bread because it's quite expensive. So yeah, it doesn't really get used that often. And I don't like things being put on my bench. So that's another reason for it. If you do have like barely any kitchen space, my best thing that I'm going to advise you to do is definitely use a door space. So I did have like some extra bibs and stuff like that on here, and like some hooks and stuff. So yeah, it's just, it doesn't really get used at the moment, but I'll probably find another use for it for sure. So now for the under the sink, which I think is a lot of everyone's issues at the moment. So this is pretty much how mine is. The kitchen that you're seeing, I've had this organized for like 5 years. Like this, and it really works so well. So if you're wondering where all my cleaning chemicals are, I pretty much just keep them in the laundry, but I only really use 2 in here which, well, I could say 3, but one's not really a chemical. So yeah, I pretty much keep them in the laundry because I use them everywhere in the house, and the laundry is right next to my kitchen. So basically I just have my detergent there. All my plastic bags are kept in this drawer. In this one here, it says sponges, but I actually now keep my like microfiber cloths that I clean my counter with. Then in here, again, it says steel wool, but it's actually these things. So I'm trying to phase out sort of and get to a more like healthier option, I suppose. And then in the bottom here is dishwasher tablets, which I've got 1 left. So I need to find more of those. This here is all my cookbooks. I did have them in one of these, but they just took up too much room. So I have them upright, which is a much better way of storing them. And then on the door here, this is again, you'll notice small kitchen, so definitely utilize that door space. I do usually have my rubber gloves here. And then I've just got a bottle holder right here. I have my prep gloves there, and any of my things that I use like to clean with the kitchen, I do keep in this caddy here, so they're not on my kitchen bench taking up that visual clutter that I hate in my home. So I don't have a door here. That's just something that I have to order because when I bought this secondhand kitchen, it didn't fit, so we had to like cut it. You can see where we've had to cut it because it was actually just one long bench. So I do need to order a door that fits along here. So this here works, but it doesn't work. So when I actually need to pull something out, I have to pull one of these out and slide it across. So it's a bit of a pain. But basically what I have in here is, this one here is just all prep stuff. So this here is all lunch prep stuff that I use. And then I have like little baggies here for Talia. So these are like for yogurts and stuff like that. And then just like fridge things. And then in the top one, I have a blender. And then I have my food processor. The corner here, I have occasional items. So they're just items that I only use when I have to use them. So they're like party supplies and stuff like that. So I don't really need to get to those. And then in this bottom area, I have just like lids. So I just store those in like a letter holder from Kmart, and that keeps them upright. And then I've just got a couple more at the front there. And then I've got my portion containers. So you pretty much see they're all the same size and all the same brand. And I do like to do this because it is so much easier for me to store because I can just stack everything. So that is definitely a really good tip, is to buy all the same containers if you can possible. And the other tip is to divide everything into containers. So this is what I've just done with this, is like the blender and all its parts are in there. So I do have like a filter in there. It's really hard to see in there. And as I said, I have to pull everything out to get it to it. So yeah, I've got a filter in there, and I do have like, you know, what is it called? Like a glass thing in there for like making almond milk, but I always use my blender for it. So it's kept in the category. And same thing as this, because all the food processor parts are in the box, and then nothing gets missing. Because before I did this, everything was just literally like scattered throughout this whole cupboard, and it was just a big hot mess. So now I know where everything is. I know it's just in that basket. Even if I have to pull one thing out to get to it, it's still much easier. Okay, so now for the cooking area. This is my pots and pans. I just hate this area. I've always have. It's not big enough for my kitchen, but anyway, and cooking that I do, but this is just how I've got it. I've just used a shelf riser here, and that is the easiest way for me to store things, is really with the shelf riser. I do want to put this, well, I was going to put this on the door here, but you can see like, oh, I should be able to do that actually. I thought that might be in the way, but it's not. So anyway, so yeah, that's what I've done there. And then I've got all my Glad wraps and my alfoil and stuff on the door. This holder was in my organizational hacks video, so it was really, really cheap to make. So definitely go check that video out. And then this is where all the rest of the utensils are, because it is such a small kitchen. So everything that I cook with is right next to me, next to the gas stove top here. So it's just a way of keeping everything really practical. And again, everything that I use baking and for cooking is in these file holders. So this is just so they're so much easier. They're not all stacked up on top of each other, which is like a real pain, and I feel like. So these are just, this one here was one from Aldi, and that was actually for pots and pans, so that's why it's a bit wider. And this one here is just a normal file organizer from Kmart. So that is that. So as you can see, I've definitely utilized that cupboard door space. And then up the top here, I've just got a Lazy Susan, and that is just for all the sauces and oils and stuff that I use in the kitchen. It does get a little bit caught on this power cord, but that is sort of the best that I can do, unfortunately. And then up the top here is just things that I don't actually use myself. So I've got lollies, I've got black tea, and I've got coffee. So I don't actually use any of that. So I have that up high because they're just for guests. And this is where I keep my knives. So it wasn't big enough for spices, so I did end up changing it up and putting my knives. I hate things being left on the bench. So this was my solution, was to put it in here, and it's perfect. It fits so well. So I've just got my knives, my knife sharpener, which I really don't use, and then I've just got my little cup measure, which does like teaspoons and tablespoons and stuff like that. I use that for the liquids because I use these ones on here on the door for all my dry goods, so I don't have to like wash in between when I'm like baking and stuff like that. And then I've just got all my cup measures here on the door. So these are just 3M hooks, and you can do this in a rental property as well. So if you've got a rental, then this is definitely a renter friendly option. And this one here is the last cupboard. So I normally do have like some drink bottles at the top, but I don't at the moment. And I'm guessing they're in the dishwasher. And then I've just got the big mugs here, and then I've got the other mugs in here. So I did add an extra shelf in here, and there's a DIY on that on my organizational hacks video, and this was also on my organizational hacks video, which is just the wine bottle holders to hold those up with. So that's just a really good way of doing that, because I am so short. Like if I go to put them in behind here, like I can reach that, but I can't reach if there's anything at the back. So if you're short, this is a perfect way of like organizing your stuff. Bells on so you don't miss another video. If you do want to see more from me, I do have a Facebook and Instagram page which can also catch me on throughout the week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week with another video. Bye.